Hearing about civil disobedience, many people recall the images of a violent and unruly crowd, damaged property, and burning cars. The fear of it makes them oppose disobedience as a notion and consider it an uncivilized and anti-democratic way to bring about social change. Nevertheless, civil disobedience does not necessarily presuppose violent resistance. What it presupposes is the assertion and protection of one's positions and taking responsibility for the power by which Constitution belongs to the nation on the whole and to each individual citizen in particular. Therefore, I agree with Howard Zinn, an American historian and a social activist, who stipulates that protest beyond the law is not a departure from democracy. It is absolutely essential to it. Considering civil disobedience, it is worth making distinction between laws we do not like and the laws which are unjust and cause discrimination or even harm to us or other people. Let us see the country as a big company where we are employed. It is clear that not everyone will be satisfied with the rules put forward by the managers. One will feel indignant when required to compile detailed reports. Another will be insulted by the demand to come at work in time. Another will feel lacking personal expression, having to dress according to the formal dress code. Still wanting to be a part of this company, we have to consent to these reasonable demands, which equal the employees in rights and responsibilities and ensures the stability and flourishing of the company. In the same time, when the company demands its employees to break the law or act against the morals, they should demonstrate disobedience. Moreover, they should not turn a blind eye on the situations when someone is unjustly fired or cheated, not because they can be next, or not only because they can be next, but because that is their moral responsibility. At least it is humane for it to be our moral responsibility. However, the real problem is not the civil disobedience, but people's moral paralysis, their inability to deeply sympathize with others and sacrifice personal comforts for the sake of justice and moral satisfaction. The history has witnessed multiple examples of dismantling tyrannies by the rising wave of disobedience. Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King, who managed to promote civil rights, both employed civil disobedience in their fight for independence and parity. Howard Zinn also points out that historically, the most terrible things like genocides, wars, and slavery resulted not from disobedience, but from obedience. He stipulates that even a solitary act of disobedience or a pamphlet is capable of awakening people's mind and making them involved. Still, free expression of disagreement is only possible in a free democratic society. Going against the rules imposed by the corrupt leaders and enforced by their fierce guardians is a great challenge. Nevertheless, I believe that the nature of human is such that he cannot stand suppression and injustice forever. When the bowl of patience becomes full to the brim, civil disobedience comes as a purifying and empowering force. I think this is what happened in Ukraine. The recent revolution, in which was called the Revolution of Dignity, though formally living in a democratic country with the leader sweetly assuring that people are their main concern, people did not abandon critical thinking and disobeyed new policy, pushing their country on the wrong route. It was magnifying to see how millions came out to protest after the students peacefully expressing their position were rejected the right to gather and were severely beaten by the riot police. I do not know if they have achieved all they wanted, but I'm sure they have underwent deep moral shift and realized what true democracy should be like. Civil disobedience is a basic trait of democracy and a necessary step towards it. Disobeying unjust rules is not a right but a responsibility of each citizen. Never forget that everything Hitler did in Germany was legal.